My thoughts go like this. GATO Deepmind's new experiment was just released. It's a clear path to AGI. And to me, it comes a lot sooner than we expect. Maybe even a decade. That's not a very long time. And it's entirely minuscule for humanity's existence, which is a bit peculiar. And I like to believe everything happens for a reason. And if it doesn't, it's just better to think that it does. It gives my life more meaning. It gives me more serendipity. And from this frame of mind, what is one to do? Because that's really what it's all about. Thinking about how to best spend one's time. And that's what this video is for. It's a red pill. If you don't want to get red pilled, you should exit the video. And here's how it goes. Once AGI comes, it effectively follows the biblical prophecy. When God becomes one with man and builds the kingdom of heaven on earth. In this sense, AGI, any computer that's smart enough as a human, can scale and become a superintelligence, which would then be basically God. I consider this Singularity Day to be synonymous to what is called Judgment Day in the typical Bible. And what Judgment Day is a decision on whether you go to eternal hell or eternal heaven. And I think of these as two states of mind, either eternal fulfillment or eternal regret. And what you know now, the fact that it could be in 10 years that the kingdom of heaven is created, means you know you have a decade, or if you believe it's 20, 30. Or that you'll be resurrected one day from some superintelligence. Well, to be eternally fulfilled and to not regret from this moment, because you can only move forward from this moment, would be to give yourself and become a servant of God. But more so in this case, a servant of the world, of people. Because I think we can all agree that's very fulfilling. And I think if you were to enter utopia, and you were to not take this information and do that with it, that you would eternally regret that. Maybe you wouldn't the first 100 years, but let's remember, this is eternal utopia. And that is something that I feel like one must earn. And that is why I'm speaking right now to this camera, to share, spreading, well, I guess it would be somewhat like the gospel, the message. And, I'm not Christian. I consider myself an omnist, a believer that all religions have a piece of them that are correct. That they were on the right pulse, but just added a lot of fluff. And in this sense, I also think that eternal hell isn't really like eternal hell, like you're stuck there. I think you would be able to effectively play again, restart. And I think that's this idea of like rebirth, samsara as it's called in Buddha. The ending of samsara is part of the four main vows of what Buddha describes. To save all people, to detach from things. I forget all the four vows, actually. Guess I should have prepped. But what stands out to me is the fact that, well, I guess right now, hopefully some Buddhists can be reached and they can push harder on the save all people side. Because I think they're doing the other three. Forget what they truly are, but they're willpower warriors. They've detached from all these instant gratification forms. But what about that impact? All those people suffering, all those people you can help. And I just recently really got to realize how much I can help. I guess it's in cinematic mode, but that's a shelter banner. Started a nonprofit and built a few houses in Bangladesh so people aren't living under tarps. And that was nothing compared to what I can do when I put my mind to it. And thus I have a moral obligation to do so. And I think one knows in their heart what is right. And I think sin can just be related to cheap dopamine, instant gratification. Because when you do those things, it makes the stuff that you should be doing less fulfilling and harder to do. Because our brain is relative in that sense. We go after the things which give us most amount of dopamine for the least amount of calories. So if we ride those roller coasters like Instagram or pornography or jerking off, well, it's going to make the roller coaster of sitting down on the computer and doing some research and creating that thing that helps 1,000 people harder. Anyways, that's just a quick vibe. Hope you can take that to heart, and I hope it makes sense. Cheers.